What's going on, everyone? I'm Jaren. Now, if you've seen my last video, you know that I've been trying my best to catch up with a lot of movies, try to get a lot of these review videos out, and the only way that I could do that is to make my movie reviews just a little bit shorter, just try to clump as much as I can into one video. Now, I know that I've been saying to myself that I could do this rapid fire style, but with some of the way that I wrote my reviews and with the way that I was able to shoot them, it all kind of equaled out with two movie reviews just clumping in as to one good quality video. So I'm not going to call it rapid fire anymore. I'm going to call it for your consideration reviews. Yes, I am doing these mini reviews specifically for any of the movies that have been caught up in the categories just nominated for anything between like the Critics' Choice Awards, the Golden Globes, and possibly the upcoming Academy Awards. And with my busy work schedule, with a lot of the holiday festivities and rituals, I am just swamped in a lot of work. I've got it all cut out for me. I'm just working tirelessly through the end of 2025. Kicking off our double feature review, we have Avatar, Fire and Ash, as we follow Jake and Neytiri's family grappling with grief after the death of their firstborn, encountering a new and aggressive Na'vi tribe, the Ash People, who are led by the fiery Varang, as the conflict on Pandora escalates and a new moral focus emerges. Visionary filmmaker James Cameron returns for a third adventure into the world of Pandora as we pick up directly where we left off after the events of The Way of Water. Now, Cameron has definitely talked about his future plans for this franchise and ad nauseum, no matter what the box office reception would be. If I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of exhausted of everyone telling James Cameron that he should move on from the Avatar franchise and just quit it altogether, because it would be a damn shame if they were to just leave this franchise incomplete, let alone end it at the third chapter. And what I admire about Cameron as a filmmaker is that he makes movies for the big screen, so a lot of these gargantuan spectacles and visuals are fully put on display, especially in every detail and in every frame of his movies. Cameron did mention in interviews that the story of The Way of Water was so massive that they could not fit all of its ideas into one particular installment, and it definitely shows in this third chapter. And what I mean by that is, while the Sullys are mourning over their recent loss, the script does kind of meander on trying to wrap up a lot of story arcs as well as character arcs and try to answer some of the questions that were set in motion before, feeling more like a part two to part two and not necessarily a progression of the franchise. I was pretty excited and very much looking forward to the introduction of the Ash People, this Na'vi tribe led by the vengeful Varang, played by none other than Una Chaplin, and she is a ferocious and relentless type of villain that adds a new flavor to the formula other than just having the humans as the overall threat to the planet. And I was just wanting to spend a little bit more time and dive a little more into their culture, into their moral values, but all of that is completely handicapped because of the continual feud between Colonel Quaritch and Jake Sully. Now, the dynamic between Varang and Quaritch was pretty spicy, but the plot conveniences, whether or not Quaritch and Sully should just settle the score, get things over with, and probably kill each other already, is dragged even further into the mud, where the spark for revenge has already fizzled. Even the action set pieces and the emotional obstacles felt so repetitious that even at the 2-hour mark, fatigue really started to kick in. Jake's shift in characterization did piss me off, but I did appreciate the compelling discourse he had with each and every family member and how he was navigating to resolve that. Now, Zoe Saldana's Neytiri will always be the standout in this franchise when it comes to the performances. I really did appreciate how much she had to do here story-wise in comparison to the last movie. Overall, while I'm kind of disappointed with the half measure we got with this third installment, this is still a cinematic achievement that is worth seeing on the big screen. Now, depending on your theater, your eyes might have a tough time adjusting to the high frame rate, so it is rather jarring, like, you know, when you got exposed to 4K TVs for the first time, but I'm pretty sure once you get to see it on home video, it'll be a lot smoother. I do expect a massive pivot in direction when it comes out to furthering out the futures of our heroes and not necessarily using the charm of what has worked in the past as a crutch. Now, I do respect some of the contrivances that were tested here, and I hope we get more of that in chapters 4 and 5. Now, the next movie I want to talk to you about is Marty Supreme, which comes out on Christmas Day, and it is about Marty Mauser, a young man with a dream that no one respects, who goes to hell and back in pursuit of greatness. So this year, both brothers, Josh and Benny Safdie, went on to write and direct their own A24 projects, and Josh Safdie, who ended up teaming up with Ronald Bronstein once again, is delivering a nail-biting and potential Oscar runner-up. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I saw the trailer for this twice, and I had no intention on seeing it at all. Now, I respect Timothée Chalamet and his talent as a leading man and a master of his craft, but I was just not interested in seeing another biopic. Long and behold, while the reviews have been hyperbolically positive, I had less than 3 days to watch my screener in advance before it expired, and I'm glad I did. The trailer did this movie no justice because I was led to believe that this was going to be some sports biopic where the underdog was going to go through the typical formula and standard tropes. And while this story does have those elements fused in there, this is more of a loose, dramatized, and stylized version of Marty Mauser's hustle and what he did in order to participate and become a legend in table tennis. Marty is prideful, cocky, and narcissistic. He is not a likable protagonist to follow, and at the same time you really get to understand what drives him, what's his purpose, what's his motivations and ambitions. But some of the things that he ends up doing, and while you want him to succeed, you know that he deserves what's coming to him. And what I mean about that is that from start to finish, a lot of his lies and his actions result into some serious consequences that really begin to pile up over time, really gradually worsens. Now, I haven't had the chance to see Chalamet's last performance as the musical icon, but he is provocative and electrifying here. And also, the supporting cast was a surprise as well. They got to shine in their own light, including Gwyneth Paltrow, Odessa A. Zion, and Tyler, the Creator. I know I had my discourse with last year's Honora with its overlapping and verbal altercations, but how it's executed here really adds a lot of humor as much as it did discomfort. I mean, from the ping pong games to the crazy shenanigans that Marty has to overcome, including the bathtub scene, a lot of the cinematography and the editing were just immaculately crafted, keeping me at the edge of my seat and white-knuckling with suspense. Overall, while Chalamet's Marty is a total dick, this is the kind of role that I'd expect that he's probably gonna land a nomination for Best Actor. And while this isn't the typical inspirational sports film that you'd expect to experience, I can definitely say that it's more of a character study that is a lot wilder and more exhilarating than it is fiction. If you enjoyed Safdie's and Bronstein's previous work like Good Time and Uncut Gems, this definitely delivers in the same spirit. This movie stressed me the fuck out, and I absolutely loved it. Well, alright guys, that's all I got to share about those movies. Go ahead and check them out when you feel like it. Look forward to more reviews. I am Jaren, but now I'm going to want to thank you guys again for taking some time out of your day to hear me talk some movies. I'll see you guys at the theater. In the meanwhile, happy holidays and take care.